Welcome to Women at Halftime podcast, but not just for women, for you men too. If you're at mid-career or the halftime of life, our inspirational topics are not only fun, but also meant to help you maximize and write your next chapter. Right here with me, Deborah Johnson. Well, hello, Deborah Johnson here with you today, and I'm so happy to be presenting a little bonus episode on Father's Day history. And I recently put out one for Mother's Day history. I thought it would be fun to do on Father's Day as well. Our emphasis, of course, is for those who are at mid-career, halftime of life, but this episode really applies to anyone. And as many of our episodes do, our podcasts and our shows. A reminder that I usually put out articles. I won't have an article with this one, but I will have a lot of links in the show notes, in the notes for the podcast. A reminder that we have some great books for you, Stop Circling and The Summit. And of course, Women at Halftime, which is another wonderful book that goes through Hero Mountain. And I will be launching that full Hero Mountain Summit program very soon. So let's dive right into the history of Father's Day. The first celebration of Father's Day was in the Spokane, Washington YMCA on June 19th, 1910. It had been founded by Sonora Smart Dodd, who thought after hearing a sermon about Mother's Day, well, there should also be a similar day for fathers. Let's make it fair. Well, her own father, William Jackson Smart, he was a Civil War veteran, and he was a single parent who raised she and her 5 siblings. Very admirable that he did that. Well, the celebration, it didn't catch on immediately. And with Dodd's studies, it took so much of her time, and she didn't even promote what she had started. However, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge, he recommended it to be observed as a national holiday in 1924. But he stopped short of issuing a national proclamation. So in 1966, President Lyndon B. Johnson, he issued the first presidential proclamation honoring fathers and designating the third Sunday in June as Father's Day. Well, 6 years later, the day was made a permanent national holiday when President Richard Nixon, he signed it into law in 1972. Well, today, Father's Day is celebrated around the world on various dates. In Mexico, it's celebrated on the third Sunday in June, similar to the US. And the tradition is also very similar to ours, to have a big family gathering. I mean, does anybody do that anymore? Yes, I know people that do. And enjoy a meal together. In Germany, Father's Day, or Vatertag, it's celebrated on Ascension Day, which is the 40th day or 5 weeks after Easter. It's a public holiday, and fathers, they often celebrate by going hiking or biking with friends and family. Again, getting together with family especially. In Thailand, Father's Day is celebrated on December 5th. The birthday, let's see if I can pronounce this, of King Bhumibol Adulyadej, considered father of the nation. You'll have to look that up, Thailand. Small gifts and cards are given to fathers as well as the king. In Australia, Father's Day is celebrated on the first Sunday in September. And it's common to give small gifts and to share a family meal or outing, very similar to how we celebrate. For Japan, Father's Day, or let's see how I can pronounce this, Shiki no Hai, is celebrated on the third Sunday in June. Common gifts include flowers, sweets, or small presents. Some families also celebrate with a meal. But the main theme through all of the celebrations all around the world is to show appreciation and love for fathers and fatherhood. According to the US Census Bureau in 2022, 18.4 million children, or 1 in 4 children, live without a biological, without a step or even adoptive father in the home. 1 in 4. Research also shows that a father's absence, it affects children in numerous unfortunate ways. While a father's presence makes a positive difference in the lives of both children and mothers in most cases. Well, there are repercussions to the absence of a father figure in a home, such as a 4 times greater risk of poverty, likeliness of additional behavior problems, 2 times greater risk of dropping out of school, and many more consequences. Well, of course, there are also many really wonderful and heartwarming stories of children who grow up very successfully in single-parent homes. We've all heard those. They're inspiring. And we understand that some women have made this choice because of abuse or addiction of a spouse, which is the right choice in those situations. But the ideal is for fathers to be involved. My own father worked many hours, but he would always be available if I needed him. And we spent good time together on camping vacations. He set a good example that it doesn't always take a great deal of time to be involved with your family. Kids know when they're wanted, and if they have a father who's present emotionally. I also knew there were consequences if I disobeyed him, and that was an important principle in our home. There were boundaries, there were guidelines. I really appreciated my husband's involvement as we raised our 3 sons. Now, I have to admit something. I did not fully understand the pressure he carried when our kids were young. I mean, he was working full-time under a really demanding boss. He was with a major sales corporation, and he was finishing graduate school and carving out time for the family. And as I look back, my expectations of him that were sometimes verbal and many times I just felt those expectations, that I should have been much more realistic with understanding and even empathy. And I do know now that empathy is just not my top personal strength. But his hard work freed me up to craft my professional work in a way I could be around more for our boys. And I could even homeschool them for some years. I appreciate it so much more now than I did then. And I wish someone had just shook me and woken me up a little bit. So as we look forward to celebrating dads on Father's Day, I want you to think of some special ways to honor a special man in your life. Respect is one of the qualities that is lacking in most of many households. And it's also lacking in our society, respect. For some years in the media, fathers were made out to be weak, the butt of jokes, and even inept and ineffective. Fortunately, some of the messaging has shifted toward other portrayals of a caring and involved father figure. And I hope to see more of that. We need that in our society, in our world. And we can show respect in a number of ways: by listening actively, by speaking politely, showing consideration, avoiding hasty judgments or assumptions, and valuing their opinions, being thankful, being grateful. Showing respect could be one of the greatest gifts we could give someone. especially if that someone is your spouse. Here are some ideas to honor your father or your husband or even your son. Cook a special meal with his favorite food. If you can't cook, order out. Give a gift of experience, such as, well, maybe a massage, a sporting event. I'm sure you can come up with ideas. A handwritten note or card, both from a spouse or kids, many times that means more than anything, and it doesn't cost anything but your time and effort. Personalized photos that can be placed on mugs, plates, or framed. There are so many options now. Just look online. Also, if you understand a communication style or a love language, as I like to refer to from Gary Chapman's book, The 5 Love Languages, it's not just for spouses, it's for everyone. This will help in deciding what to give. My husband loves quality time. In this way, he feels affirmed and listened to. He's also much more spontaneous than I am. If I come up with something spontaneous, he's thrilled. Well, others may like acts of service or gifts. My dad was very much acts of service. He was a worker. Many schools used to provide a craft or a card for special days, but I doubt if that's provided in most classrooms today. For young kids and crafts, I love Hobby Lobby. You can find Hobby Lobbies, I think, most places around the United States. They have plenty of craft supplies and even kits for most every holiday. You will have a store like this around you, I am sure, even Walmart's. I keep a special table in our home with all sorts of supplies for our granddaughters. It's just always there, always available. Remember, the cost of thoughtfulness is mainly our time, energy, and a little effort. Well, I thought it would be fun also in this bonus episode to share a couple unusual gifts given on Father's Day through the years. And I found some online. Here are some that I found. A custom-made action figure, complete with clothing and accessories. How fun. A day as a professional race car driver on a professional track. A lot of men would love that. No, this was funny. A pet goat a father had always secretly wanted. A personalized toilet seat with his name and photo on it. Ooh, imagine the guests coming in the house and seeing that. A trip to space, which cost, but he had a billionaire son. How about that? Just remember that respect and honor for each other should not only happen on a single day. The development and nurturing of relationships and friendships, it happens over a lifetime. They are worth the effort and the little bit of self-sacrifice to make others feel appreciated, respected, and listened to. And it pays off in droves for each other. And I encourage you on this Father's Day to not neglect those men in your life who have, who are, or even will be taking on the role of a father, because you really can't buy back these years. I hope you have a wonderful Father's Day. And those around you do as well. Maybe because of even something that you do for them. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure you connect with me on goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. We have a new article coming out every single week. Plus, you can get our updated podcasts and music and everything else. Deborah Johnson, speaker. Of course, that's always available too. I do a number of speaking events, both virtually and live, and djworksmusic.com. Love what I do. And I hope you've really enjoyed this and you appreciate someone around you. I don't have my father with me right now. I miss him. But I did take the moments to make sure he knew he was appreciated. I will put the link in this podcast as well to a song called Can't Buy Back the Years. I have the sheet music available as well. It's a wonderful song. I originally wrote for him, and I have the lyrics hanging on my office wall, the original lyrics that I wrote, which are different than the ones I ended up recording. But it had that heartfelt message that we really can't buy back the years. We want to appreciate them every single day that we have right now. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll look forward to being with you again next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. We'd love it if you'd share and follow us to not miss a single show and even write a review. You can also find all of our articles, products, and links at womenathalftime.com.